Welcome back to Davoli's House of Cards, St. Johns County. Brent and friends on ESPN 690. Maurice Jones-Drew yesterday. Rasheed Mathis joined us yesterday. Each and every Monday they do that. Clay Harbor on Wednesdays. And, hey, maybe we can book Blake Bortles each and every Tuesday. I'm not sure he really wants to do that, but we appreciate him jumping in. Fresh off retirement, Blake Bortles, what's happening, man?
Not much, Brent. How are you? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks for taking a few minutes with us. We appreciate it. Man, retired at your age? That sounds weird.
Yeah, it is. It sounds weird, and it actually is weird. So I'm working my way through it, figuring it out, kind of hanging with the family, taking it easy, playing a bunch of golf right now, and then we'll see what the next chapter brings.
Are you on the golf course right now?
I'm not. I'm currently walking our youngest through the neighborhood in a stroller because I figured it'd be the only way I could keep him quiet while I did this.
That's awesome. Hey, that's all right. Rasheed juggles his kids sometimes coming home from school, so we're used to it. We're fine if something happens. How's being a dad, man, and the family life? Is it going well?
It is, yeah. It's awesome. My fiance and I have two. We had our first in 17 of December, which was one of the better years of my life for sure with everything going on. And then we have an 18-month-old boy now as well.
That's awesome. Really good stuff. And why did you decide to do it? What was the final thing for you to retire? It sounds like you might have made the decision months and months ago, but what brought you to that outcome?
Yeah, I did. I called my agent and had a conversation with him, told, family and close friends probably like right after the season, really. February, March-ish was kind of when I, made the final decision. And then, I got out publicly a week or so ago. But, it's kind of a multiple, facets thing. My body wasn't the same anymore. I was starting to, bounce around, playing different teams and doing things and stuff like that. When, you got two kids and a family at home, becomes a bit more difficult. And, at the end of the day, it was hard for me to look at myself as the player that I had become. I didn't feel I was the same football player, and I didn't really want to go out like that. So I figured better to just call it on my own rather than waiting for no more teams to call me.
Yeah, that's good, man. And how surprised as the months went along were you that nobody was breaking the story? I mean, that's a heck of a deal to keep that under wraps for a bit.
Yeah, it was. I kind of knew something would come out eventually because somebody would ask on the road or whatever. But I think we made it 3 or so months. I was hoping to just fade away, but we almost did it.
That's good. I will tell you this, and I've said this, and I know you probably don't listen to shows, although you should. I mean, 3 to 6 every day now if you want. Jump on program. In. But it's a good program. I've said it for the last couple of years. I don't understand why Blake Bortles isn't on a roster. I just didn't get it. With your resume, with what you accomplished, obviously you're a good team guy, good room guy. I mean, were you as surprised as me looking at some of these players around the league that were on rosters, and I won't call them out, I won't make you call them out, but that you didn't have more of a permanent job as a backup at the very least?
Yeah, it's it's definitely one of those things. I'm probably a bit biased towards my situation, being the one living through it. But at the same time, I was pretty realistic, and I wasn't meant to be. I don't have the makeup to be the perfect, backup quarterback. The guy that goes in. I guess I had everything besides the perfect backup physical tools, that throws the pretty ball and does. That wasn't really my game. I was kind of more of a mutter. It didn't always look pretty, and it was trying to find ways to win. And I don't think that always plays well as the backup that's got to go out and spin it and look good in practice and 7-on-7 and scout team and those things. Not that that's an excuse or anything, but it, for whatever reason, it never worked out. And I was never really find that backup role and hang on for a few years.
Yeah, I guess I've been told that a little bit too. I mean, I guess I understand that, but heck, man, I'm telling you this, if my quarterback goes down and I got a guy that's thrown 100 touchdowns in the league and played as many games as you have and played in some big games, I kind of would rather have that guy with the experience. Screw the practice football.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I thought the same thing, too.
Retired Blake Bortles with us here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. How close to the game will you stay? Do you watch it every Sunday? Do you try to get away from it? Where are you from a football fandom now that you're hanging it up?
Probably somewhere in the middle. I'm not tuned in, to every game. I'll catch like the Thursday or Monday night games usually. I try and watch guys coaching or playing that I know and have relationships with, watch them and keep tabs on them and check in, try and keep up with the Jags. But as far as coaching or doing anything, getting into it, I always said I want it, but then, at 30 years old, you retire and you realize it's one of very few things in your life. So it's hard to probably stay away from it for too long.
What's your take on Trevor Lawrence? He's 23 games into his career, obviously got a lot of talent, high draft pick like you were, a lot of pressure on him, had a miserable year last year with the Urban Meyer situation. How much can you relate of what maybe he's going through at times with the roller coaster of being a young quarterback, and what do you see out of the Jags' current franchise quarterback?
I think he's obviously, I think what everybody has always said about him, he's a special talent and a very good football player that has, I think, an unlimited ceiling that he can get to. As far as, which are things that I have, way less experience in. But, going through kind of a bit of turmoil and having to overcome some adversity early on in your career, some coaching changes and things of that nature, it's hard to deal with, especially as, a young kid that played for one guy in a consistent, steady system throughout college the same way I did. That's stuff that it's all part of the maturation process, I think, and what can make him truly special to kind of overcome all those things and continue to progress and become a good football player in the NFL.
I was thinking we were going to do this interview today, so I had like the most simple question of all time that I'm not sure will be the easiest to answer, but how hard is it to play quarterback in the NFL? You went through the gamut, man. How hard is it?
Hackett and I used to kind of have, I guess it was an inside joke or something, that he would mention, obviously with his football history, his dad and everything, he often would say just, me and him, or maybe if Chad Henne was around, that playing quarterback, maybe outside of being the president of the United States, could be the hardest job in the world, so I'm sure that is a bit dramatic, but, I do think that there's some credibility to it as far as, the amount of things that go into it, the amount of pressures and expectations on you. It is hard to do, and the guys that do it well, I think deserve the utmost respect.
Well, he had to help you through all those times when you were taking some of the bullets. Now you might have to help Hackett through some of this time right now. I'm sure you shoot him an encouraging text. It's been a rough go early on in Denver.
Yeah, it has. I'm sure he'll get it figured out. He's a super smart dude and a guy that anybody that gets to spend any time around him absolutely loves. So I know it's been a bit tough. It seems that they're on primetime television every single week. So I'm sure they wouldn't mind a Sunday 1 o'clock game or something. But I'm sure they'll get it figured out. He's awesome.
They're going to have to play or at least one Sunday at 9 a.m. too, Blake, and that one's going to be a tough one for them when they play the Jags. But this is Kasey. We do appreciate you joining us, Blake. I do want to ask you, when you look back at how everything played out, college, the draft, being with the Jags, everything, and then take yourself back to a kid just playing football, did you satisfy yourself with your career and made younger Blake Bortles proud?
I think as far as what the expectations were as a young kid, yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely exceeded those. I mean, my goal as a kid was to start on my high school football team. So getting a chance to, go to college for free and play at UCF and getting drafted in the first round by the Jags, to me, it was, I wouldn't change anything about it. And it was everything, I ever dreamed of doing. And then obviously as you go through it, your expectations change and you want to be successful and be the best player you can be. So, I think looking back on it, it's, you want to put it in perspective and say, I accomplished a lot. I did, a lot of good things. But at the same time, it's, there's so many things you wish you could have done differently. You wish you could have done better and had more success. And I don't know if there's anybody as an athlete that ever retires saying like, yeah, absolutely, I crushed that. I think majority of guys, have some regrets or some things that they wish could have gone differently.
Blake Bortles with us here, Brent and Friends on ESPN690. We'll just keep you for a few more minutes, man. Appreciate taking the time on the walk with the kiddo to jump in. And one thing about it is the fans are glad to hear from you, I think. The fans really like Blake Bortles. I have called this the weirdest relationship between a player and this franchise maybe that I've ever seen. Obviously, they were super critical of you at times, which fans are. They have this unbelievable 2017 moment. Like, if you're my kid and he's 17, which he is, that was the only year since he's been born that was good, and Blake Bortles and company helped deliver that. And then you were just Jacksonville as Jacksonville can be. Do you feel all that, like all those emotions, even now, of how the fans feel about you?
Yeah, I do. I think it's definitely a more in-person experience now. I don't have social media, so I'm not on there seeing, good or bad or whatever said on there. But, I remember having a conversation with Gus Bradley when he left town. We stayed in contact and continued to talk. And, it was during a year, the end of my third year, the year Gus got let go, where things weren't going well. And I remember saying to him, I can't wait to just get out of town and get away from all this. And he said, just stick it out, hang around, regardless of how your career goes. It's an unbelievable place, an unbelievable city, and a really great place to live and raise a family. And, I kind of shook it off and said, yeah, whatever. And looking back on that now, it couldn't be more true. We fell in love with this place as a city. It's our home. It will be for a really long time. And, like I said earlier, it was a blessing to get drafted by Jacksonville. Being from Orlando and being able to have family and friends come visit and be close. The one successful year that we had, like you said, I wish we had more, but the way the town was throughout that 2017 year and that run, was really cool. And I hope they get to experience that again with the Jags.
Hey, the year is 2032. It's been 15 years since that AFC championship, and we bring you all back to the stadium. Who gets the bigger ovation, Blake Bortles or Jalen Ramsey?
I don't know. Probably Jalen. Jalen's way more of a character, man. And he's a really, really good football player.
Yeah, you're definitely off social media. It's not even close who gets the bigger ovation. Let me help you out.
Yeah, Blake,
it'll be Blake Bortles.
You might have missed some stuff. I'm not going to lie to you.
That could be. Well, I was in L.A. when he showed up in L.A., so I do remember some of that. But I obviously was on the other side of that divorce.
Absolutely. Okay, give AFC Championship 10 minutes to go. You got the how did you think you were going to the Super Bowl?
I did, honestly. We were, being up. I think we were up 10 points with 5 minutes left in the game, and it was really special to have. I think it was 3rd and 18, and we were. Tom was backed up. And, you're kind of looking at the clock thinking, no way. And he converts that ball across the middle. And then, I think we go 3 and out, and then he goes right down the field again to score another touchdown. And we had a chance at the end. I can kind of still see the throw like it was yesterday to D.D. Westbrook and Stephon Gilmore breaking that ball up on 4th down. But I think anytime you're playing Tom Brady, especially in Foxborough, it was never over until the end.
Yeah.
That was one of those that was hard to swallow.
That was a great game.
I guess if you're going, somebody's talking to you about that game. It sounds like I guess if you're going to lose, and this doesn't make Jags fans feel any better because Miles Jack wasn't down still. But I guess in your world to lose to Brady and tell that story some 50 years down the road, it's a pretty good one. Are you making Brandon Linder babysit it all these days, or what? What's he doing?
Brandon, I don't think has been in civilization since he announced his retirement. He's either been in the ocean or he's been in the woods hunting. So he's having an unbelievable time. But we speak pretty frequently, and it's interesting to hear. He's watching, keeping up with the Jags obviously as well. And both of us, there's times where it's like, man, how fun would it be a part of to still be playing, and still. Be a part of everything involved that comes with winning. It's so much fun when you're able to experience that and go through that.
Yeah, we're waiting on it around here, but that one big year was a big year. I've got 2 more questions for you. One is Clay Harbor told us a story about Mavericks in a fight that started because of a wet willy. Is that true?
I think that is true. But it never happened is the wild thing. Clay probably remembers it better than I do. But there was like a brawl that happened because somebody said that somebody else gave me a wet willy, but it never happened. So I don't know if it was completely made up or maybe the guy pretended to. But I actually had a buddy that was there with me. I had a couple friends. There's a group of us. And one of my buddies was on one of those scooters where you put your leg up on and scoot around and you busted his ankle or something. and he ends up in the middle of the fight on his back and can't find his scooter, and he's just getting kicked around. So it was a pretty common thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a memorable night for many involved. All right, what are you going to do now? Do you have any plan? I mean, you got dad life, you get married, you got husband life. That may take up the next couple of years, but man, you're young. I mean, do you have any vision of what's next?
I don't. We're working on a wedding. We're engaged right now. I've got 2 kids. We're building a house, so we'll be involved in that for the next whoever knows how long. But outside, as far as career path, no, I have no idea. Playing a decent amount of golf, and I'm definitely going to have to get into something soon. So we'll see what happens.
Listen, man, we don't pay as much as Barstool or anything, but we got Mojo on Monday, Rasheed Mathis on Monday. We got Clay Harbor on Wednesdays. Open invitation for Bortles, just an hour a week. Come on down if you want to kill some time, man.
I appreciate it, Brent, man. Thank you.
All right. Say hello to the family and enjoy retirement. Thanks for jumping in with us.
Absolutely. Y'all take care.